Good morning, guys, and welcome back once again to the Hobby Room channel. Thank you for joining in. Got a bit of a gloomy morning this morning, but I guess they can't all be perfect. But we've got our hot coffee, and we've got a couple of kits. It would appear that I've gone hopping mad. Haha, funny joke. What I set out to do here, and I'm gonna let you guys, chime in on what it is that you want to see. I've been looking for some projects. I've been looking for some easy builds. I've been on these restorations and complicated stuff, and that's fun. I love it. But I kind of just wanted some easy stuff to pick through, and stuff that frankly belongs in the collection. So really what I did was I went out and I bought all of the Hopper class of Tamiya cars, barring of course the lunchbox. We do not have that present. Now when I say Hopper, I'm referring to solid rear axle cars. So this, what you guys are seeing here, is very much Tamiya's entry level. So where do you start? Well, you got to start with the Grasshopper because that's iconic. It's where such a huge number of us actually got our start. You can't go wrong with the Grasshopper. You can't go wrong with the Grasshopper. They followed that up with the Grasshopper 2. So there's some improvements there. There's some body changes. I don't exactly know what all is different with the Grasshopper 2. I know not long ago I restored a Grasshopper 2 Super G for my friend Michael Bacon. And I'll toss in a couple of pictures of that. That car came out really, really cool. So we've got the Grasshopper 2. Now, to digress a little bit, with the Grasshopper goes the Hornet. The Hornet was your level up. You got some oil shocks out back. There's a few other little differences. Again, I've dealt with the mid to high line Tamiya cars, so this is going to be somewhat new. I can't tell you other than oil shocks and a different body shell. And in fact, I don't even know how different the body shell is. The Hornet's got a wing where the Grasshopper's spoiler is kind of built into the body. But I don't know. We're going to unbox them, we're going to build them, and we're going to find out. Most recently, we've got the Fighter Buggy RX. I'm looking at the back of the box. Yes, Fire Buggy RX Memorial. Now, I got to admit, I'm kind of an idiot on this one. I saw this and I had the opportunity to buy this a long time ago. And I figured, you know what, I'll just wait on it. It looks really cool, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of hype. And then I swear within 2 weeks' time, Glenn got one on the channel. Gavin covered one on RC Kicks. Ari covered one on RC Retro, and there I was sitting thinking, man, I could have been first to the game with this one, but alas, I sat on my duff, which I do an awesome job at. But it's here now, so that pretty much, these four represent the Hopper series, the entry-level series, and we're going to build them all. I'm going to add them all to the collection. I was at Boca Bearing again yesterday, so that's 2 days in a row. I've picked up somewhere on the order of 150, 200 bearings within the last 2 days, and that's not only for the cars, but for my model airplane engines. We've got some motors ready to go into these cars. We need one more. The RZ is going into the Fighter Buggy, and the Sport Tuned, I guess those are just going to get spread around amongst the other three. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that this is actually a sponsored episode. Actually, this episode is sponsored in two ways, but one of these buggies was donated, and I have to ask permission from the person to mention them before I do so, so that'll remain a mystery. But what was donated was this Spektrum SLT3 radio. This came directly from Mike Cabrera and Phil Baderka over at Radio Controlled Revolution here in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I want to show you this, and I want to show you why I really, really like this radio. So we'll go ahead. I've cut the seal in the interest of making life a little easier. But you can see we're still new in the package. I'll set that aside. Comes presented in a little plastic case with, of course, a manual for those of us who need it. We've got our transmitter and we've got a receiver. That's it. That's all that comes in the box. And honestly, I think that's what makes this a fantastic set. And I'll go on to show you why. First of all, it's a great looking little transmitter. It's super simple. On the back, you've got your steering and throttle servo reversing direction. You've got a throttle 50, 75, and 100 switch. That's great, especially for cars like this. I live in a community and there's always youngsters walking around. And of course, I'm always quick to want the kids to give it a try because I want, more people to get into the hobby, so I can stealthily switch a model down to 50% power. Let's say I've got, the Fighting Buggy out there on a 2 or a 3S LiPo running the RZ motor. No youngster needs that as their first RC experience. It'll end up into a tree or a pole. So those are the selections that you have on the back, as well as your on and off switch. You've got your trims on the front, and your third channel is a rocker switch right there. Now, it does require your 4 AA batteries, which again doesn't bother me because it's one less thing to worry about charging. You buy them in bulk, and that just, I don't know, I don't prefer, but I do like transmitters that require AA batteries. Now I'm making a bit of a stooge out of myself by not being able to put the battery door back on. One other thing I really, really like about this transmitter is the location of the wheel in relation to my thumb. Oftentimes I'm holding the camera, filming the car, and with this I can actually steer the buggy or the car or the boat or whatever it may be while operating the trigger, and I can basically control the model one-handed or two hands, if I'm just having fun. So that's spectacular. And it comes pre-bound to this absolutely adorable little 3-channel receiver. And these guys are so small, you can fit them into any of these cars. Buggies with space restrictions, even if you go on to like an Avanti or an Egress, something with super limited space. A Hot Shot I'm restoring right now has super limited space. There's always going to be room for this guy. So they come pre-bound. One other point on this radio set that I really think is its strongest point, to be completely honest, and that is its price point. This whole lot sells for about $60. Why is that cool? Well, I have a couple of these, and I actually also have a very nice Futaba with multi-model memory, and that's great, but what do you do when your friends come over and you guys all want to go out and bash around in the backyard? Well, the great thing about a set like this is, let's just for the sake of argument say that I'm going to put this setup in the Grasshopper. Well, I'll just take my label maker and I'll put Grasshopper on it, and there you go. And then I'll buy another one of these setups and set it up for the Hornet, and I'll write Hornet, so on and so forth. That way, if I have buddies over and we want to go, just knock around and have a good time, we can all do that. If you've got, a collection of 20 cars and one transmitter, what are you going to do when a friend comes over and says, "Oh man, let's go run some RC"? Oh, sorry, bro, I've only got one transmitter, but you could stand there and watch me play. That'll be a lot of fun, right? No, that's not how it rolls for me. So although everybody always complains about the number of transmitters they've got sitting around, guys, if you feel like donating or sending me more of these, I'll take as many as I can get. In a perfect world, I would have a separate rack downstairs with a big old box of quality AA batteries, and one of these for every one of my models. That way, if I have 5 friends come over, we can all go bash around in the field and have a good time. So once again, a super special thanks to Mike over there at Radio Controlled Revolution. You can just Google them. They're in Palm Beach. They're actually just west of downtown on Okeechobee, just west of I-95. It's a full-line hobby shop, so go check them out. That's where we're at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building these guys, and I am going to video each build. But when I said I was going to lob the ball into your court, basically what I'm going to do is each video is going to be me showing the box, me showing the contents of the box. Then what you won't see in the video is I'm going to build the whole thing, I'm going to paint the whole thing up, and then the video will cut back in with a finished product and a little bit of running. Now, if you guys chime in and say, hey, Chris, we want to see the build, well, cool. Then I will edit up and put together a build video for that car. But what I don't want to do is bore you guys with hugely long videos on cars that are largely the same construction. So it would almost be, it would be darn close to the same video over and over and over. So comment down below. Guys, don't forget, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, keep me relevant. Want to thank Balsa USA for the shirt. We are going to get back to model airplane videos, actually almost next, like very, very soon. If you guys have any desire to build World War I, especially proper model airplane kit, look up Balsa USA online. Their kits are second to none. And in fact, most of the major flying competitions have Balsa USA specific classes if you want to compete. That way, if one of their planes is ever so slightly off of scale, and sometimes they'll change the scale, they'll look ever so slightly to make the model fly better, but then it isn't to scale. So a lot of these flying events do have Balsa USA classes so that you always have a place to fly them, but regardless, it's a fantastic product. So with that, I have a lot of work to do, and I guess you lot can hang tight, and we'll see where to begin. So have a great day. Happy hour seeing, to quote Glenn, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Folks, I almost forgot the most important part of any YouTube video, and that is the begging. Guys, like, subscribe, smash the notification bell. If you guys have shirts, I'll buy them, send them to me. I'll give you my address for those of you who don't have them. But again, like, subscribe, hit the bell, keep me relevant, and I'll keep the content coming to you. Thanks again.